Alright, since all of you love storytime of exposing the weird classmate stories, here we go. I changed the names of the characters and added some more details to make it a bit funnier. Feel free to comment your stories in the comments section or send them in Discord. I will add them in my videos without exposing your names. I'm exposing this wannabe celebrity in my class who tried to turn us into his personal fan club. Let's call him Ethan. So, we're in math class, trying not to doze off while the teacher explains something about polynomials, and suddenly Ethan pops up like, "Hey everyone, subscribe to my channel. I'm filming a new vid this weekend." Like, bro, chill. We're knee deep in equations and he's out here pitching his brand. It didn't stop there. Ethan started offering roles in his next vlog if people would do his homework. "Help me with this essay and I'll shout you out." He acted like he had millions of followers when in reality, his most viewed video was him failing a skateboard trick. Then came the big test. Ethan failed it hard. Afterward, he got desperate. He cornered my friend in the hallway whispering, "If you finish my project, I'll feature you in my next TikTok. We'll go viral." Like, dude, we all know you have 50 followers, half of which are your cousins. But I had enough. I started noting down every time he pestered someone. I even recorded him trying to bribe a classmate with exclusive backstage passes to a vlog he films in his garage. Finally, at lunch, I confronted him. "Ethan, remember when you begged Emma to do your science project for a special cameo? I've got receipt." Everyone went silent and Ethan's face turned tomato red. Suddenly, nobody wanted to be his unpaid workforce. Class realized his fame was as fake as his promises. Now Ethan keeps quiet during class and I haven't heard a single subscription begging session since. Sorry Ethan, guess you'll have to earn those grades and followers the proper way. In next story, I'm gonna expose someone who literally took advantage of one of the nicest people in class just because they had a little crush. Ugh, I know, it's super messed up. Okay, so there's this super shy student, let's call her Mia. She's the type who always sits in the back, taking neat notes and never bothering anyone. Well, Mia admits she's got a major crush on a classmate. We'll call him Ryan. Ryan's popular, athletic, and always surrounded by his crew. Mia figures that maybe if she helps him out, he'll notice her in a good way. At first, it's just small stuff. Mia lets him copy a few answers before class, helps him study for quizzes. Nothing too big. But then Ryan starts getting comfortable. He's like, "Mia, can you just finish my history essay? I'm so busy." And Mia, being head over heels, agrees. The more Mia helps, the less Ryan even acknowledges her. Whenever he texts her, it's always, "I need the math homework by tonight," or "send me the answers ASAP." It becomes super obvious that he's using her as his personal homework machine and doesn't care about her at all. Finally, Mia reaches her breaking point. She goes through their text history, page after page of Ryan's demands and zero actual conversation. No joke, no compliments, not even a little, "How are you?" Furious and hurt, Mia decides to expose him. The next day, Mia shows a few classmates. Word spread fast. People are shocked that Mr. Popular Ryan is such a jerk. By lunchtime, everyone's talking about how he basically catfished Mia's feelings for free assignments. It's not a good look. If you ask me, Ryan got what he deserved. Okay, next story is super interesting. So there's this shy kid in my class, let's call her Elena, who's been crushing hard on this really sweet guy, Carter. They're both quiet, always sitting in the back row, and I swear they've never exchanged more than 2 words. But Elena finally builds up the courage to write a heartfelt confession note. She sneaks into school early one morning and slips the note into Carter's locker. Problem is, someone else saw her do it. This nosy student, Ava, can't mind her own business. She actually opens Carter's locker. She scribbles out half the words and replaces them with embarrassing weird stuff. Think random doodles of frogs and lines like, "Your elbows smell like old cheese." Like, what even? Anyway, Carter opens his locker before homeroom and finds this bizarre love letter. He's expecting something nice or at least coherent, but all he gets is nonsense. He's totally confused and a little freaked out. Elena, watching from a distance, is devastated. She knows that isn't what she wrote. She watches Carter just look puzzled and maybe a bit grossed out. Honestly, the poor girl was about to cry on the spot. Everyone starts whispering and laughing, and rumors spread like wildfire. But here's where it gets good. Another student, let's call her Priya, caught Ava on the security cams, or maybe she peeked around the corner at just the right moment, messing with that locker. Priya shows everyone the footage, and Ava's entire plan blows up in her face. Moral of the story, don't mess with someone's heartfelt confession. Next story is about this so-called love guru in my class who turned out to be a total sham. Seriously, you'll never look at professional dating advice the same way again. So there's this student, we'll call him Mac, who claims he's a relationship expert. He's always bragging about his methods and techniques, and for a small fee, like $2 snacks or a snack from the vending machine, he'll write you a personalized love letter or give you the perfect line to win over your crush. The first few victims who tried his advice ended up looking completely ridiculous. One guy tried Max's pickup line on his crush and got a blank stare in return. Another girl paid Max to write a heartfelt note, but the thing sounded like it was ripped straight from a Skibidi toilet video. The worst was when someone tried to impress their crush with Max's foolproof compliments and ended up talking about toenail. It was quite weird. Time for next story. So, let me tell you about this one kid in my class who's basically a walking black hole for school supplies. We've all got that classmate who's always like, "Can I borrow a pen real quick?" or "I just need an eraser for this test." But with this kid, let's call them Alec, those pens and pencils never come back. I swear, you could hand Alex a pen and poof, gone, vanished into thin air. At first, we thought maybe Alex was just super forgetful, but after a few weeks, everyone started noticing that their supplies were disappearing at record speed. One kid lost 5 pencils in a week. Another swore he lent out the same pen 3 times, each time never seeing it again. Finally, after months of this mysterious stationery vanishing act, my friend Emma got suspicious. She decided to do a little detective work. During a group project, when Alex stepped out to grab something, Emma took a quick peek inside their backpack. Strictly for investigative purposes, of course. What did she find? A full-on pencil case kingdom. I'm not kidding. Pens, pencils, highlighters, erasers in every shape and color, all neatly organized like they were planning to open their own office supply store. We got our stuff back, and now no one trusts Alex anywhere near their stationery. So, you know how some kids try to sound super smart by dropping big words into conversation? Well, we've got one classmate, let's call her Bella, who takes it to a whole new level. And by new level, I mean a secret dimension where none of the words actually exist. The other day, I'm sitting in English class, trying not to nod off while Mrs. Green talks about Shakespeare, when Bella leans over and whispers, "Have you ever considered how very slath-worthy these sonnets are?" I'm like, what? Did she say slath-worthy? Is that even a sound humans make? Fast forward to lunch. Bella's in line at the cafeteria, tapping her foot and going, "Ugh, the pizza here is so florvikit." A couple of kids nearby raise their eyebrows. One brave soul asks, Bella, what does florvikit mean exactly?" She gives him a pitying look, sighs as if we're all hopelessly uneducated, and says, "You seriously never heard that before? It's not just random moments either." Bella will casually drop these bizarre words into everyday conversation like she's been practicing them in front of a mirror. "This gym class is so crimbletic today," or "I'm feeling really yoppish about the quiz." Now it's become a sort of game for everyone else. If Bella uses a word, we just smile, nod, and guess what it might mean. Next, I've got a story that still makes me laugh. So there's this classmate of mine, we'll call him Jacob, who's always rolling his eyes at anything trendy, mention TikTok, and he'll lecture you on how cringe it is. He's that person who claims he doesn't even know what a For You page is, right? Anyway, it's break time, and I head to the restroom. I push the door open, and bam, there's Jacob, center stage, phone propped perfectly on the sink. He's busting out some fancy footwork that would make a dance crew proud. He just blurted out, "I was washing my hands." I just nod, raise an eyebrow, and say, "Wow, some interesting hand washing moves you've got there." He stutters something about just warming up and stretches. Meanwhile, I'm biting the inside of my cheek, trying not to laugh. When I leave, he's still standing there, probably wondering how he's ever going to deny loving TikTok. So on to the next story. There were these 2 girls in my class who always claimed to be the ultimate BFFs. You know, the kind who do matching hairstyles, swap hoodies, and finish each other's sentences. Of course, half the class was like, they're just super close friends, while the other half whispered, "I don't know, I heard they might actually be dating." But here's the twist. It's apparently banned in our university to be in a same-sex relationship. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. Don't even get me started on the outdated rules around here. Anyway, these 2 always played it off like, "Oh, we're besties. We're basically sisters." Meanwhile, the rumor mill was working overtime. Everyone had a theory, but no proof. Then one afternoon, a classmate heads over to the car park, probably searching for a quiet place to cram in some last-minute studying or to scroll on their phone, let's be real. And guess what they see through the windshield of a parked car? Our so-called best friends, totally mid-lip lock. I'm talking a full-on kissing scene that definitely said, "We're more than just friends." Naturally, the classmate kind of froze for a second like, do I back away slowly or pretend I'm blind? But it was too late. One of the girls spotted them, cue frantic hair smoothing, seatbelt grabbing, and windows rolling up, as if that would somehow erase the fact they'd caught. Word spread faster than Free Pizza Day. But instead of shock or scandal, everyone mostly found it hilarious. The 2 girls were mortified, stumbling over excuses like, "We were just, practicing for drama club." Let's just say no one was buying it. Next story is my favorite. So there's this guy in our school, let's call him Kevin, who managed to befriend practically every girl in class by claiming he was totally 100% gay. And you know what? At first, nobody questioned it. He'd gush over their outfits, join in on their gossip sessions, and even help them pick out which lip gloss really brought out their eyes. Naturally, the girls adored him. They'd invite him to all their hangouts because, well, they thought he was safe and wouldn't try anything sketchy. Meanwhile, the other dudes were low-key jealous because Kevin got to sit at that exclusive lunch table where it's all giggles and makeup hacks 24/7. But here's where it gets hilarious. One day, rumor starts floating around that Kevin was spotted holding hands with a girl at the mall. Yes, an actual date situation. Everyone was like, no way, maybe they're just besties. But then more evidence piled up. Witnesses claimed they saw him buy her boba tea and they were definitely acting like a couple, sharing straws, blushing, the whole 9 yards. By Monday morning, the entire school knew. Kevin walked into class, all confident, only to be met with a sea of raised eyebrows. The girls who thought he was their gay best friend suddenly realized he'd been playing them for months. People were half shocked, half dying of laughter at the look on his face when confronted. He tried to brush it off, muttering stuff like, oh, I was just, experimenting, but nobody bought it. Let's just say, by lunchtime, Kevin's fabulous gay persona had completely evaporated. Now the girls tease him constantly, like, Kev, which shade of lipstick should I use with my new outfit? And then crack up when he pretends still knows all the tips. So here's the next story. There's this girl in our department who likes to flex all these super fancy designer shoes. Think high-end brands, flashy logos, the whole deal. She'd roll up to class bragging about how she spent a fortune on her latest pair, dropping names like Balenciaga or Gucci to sound extra rich. Honestly, everyone kinda believed her until last weekend. Turns out, a few classmates were hitting up the local Sunday market. You know, the spot where you can score cheap street food and random bargain. They're wandering around, minding their own business when they see someone suspiciously familiar, haggling over some shoes that are very obviously fake brand knockoffs. And it's our wealthy friend. She's holding a pair of super off-looking Yeezys and they're being sold for like the price of a burger combo. The classmates did a double take, then tried to play it cool and not laugh too loud. I mean, seeing Miss I Only Wear designer buying secondhand copies in the bargain bin. Talk about an awkward encounter. By Monday, word spread like wildfire. Now she's scrambling to cover her tracks, claiming she was just testing out styles. So here's the next story. There's this girl in our class, let's call her Amber, who seemed like the ultimate social butterfly. She'd give you a wide smile in the hallway, tell you how much she loved your outfit, and offer to share her lunch if you forgot yours. I mean, talk about sweet, right? She had this habit of handing out compliments like they were candy on Halloween, so it was easy to believe she was just that friendly. But then, weird stuff started happening. We'd hear from a friend of a friend that Amber called someone's makeup clownish behind their back, or we'd catch her rolling her eyes the moment the person she just complimented was out of sight. A few people brushed it off first, like, oh, maybe she's just joking. But it got worse. She'd gossip about one person's family situation to another, totally stirring the pot. Meanwhile, to their faces, she'd act like their number one supporter. The best part, she thought she was so slick about it. She'd whisper her snarky comments in the corner of the cafeteria, hoping no one would notice. Newsflash, people notice everything in school. Pretty soon, everyone started comparing notes, realizing, wait, she backstabbed you too? It was like a group puzzle, and all the pieces came together. Eventually, word spread that Amber wasn't the sweetheart she portrayed on social media or in class. Once people pieced it all together, they were done giving her the benefit of the doubt. Nobody confronted her in some huge dramatic showdown. Everyone just kind of stepped back. These days, she's mostly by herself at lunch, scrolling through her phone with a fake smile plastered on her face. So, here's the next story. We've got this one guy in our class, let's call him Noah, who, to be honest, is known for being the king of selfish moves. He's the type of person who'll take the last slice of pizza without asking if anyone else wants it, you know? But this time, he really outdid himself. So Noah and his girlfriend planned to attend a big festival together. She spent ages getting ready, hair done, fancy outfit, the whole 9 yards. She's super excited because they'd been talking about this event for weeks. Noah was in charge of buying the tickets and you'd think he'd manage that, right? Well, apparently not. When they get to the entrance, she's all giddy, ready to show her ticket. That's when Noah casually drops a bomb. He only bought one ticket. She's standing there, totally confused, like, wait, I thought you got tickets for both of us. Noah just shrugs, mumbles something about how it was too expensive, and goes, well, sorry, guess you can't come in. Can you imagine the look on her face? Instead of running back to the box office to grab another ticket, or at least staying outside with her, like any decent partner would, he just waves goodbye, goes inside, and leaves her behind. The poor girl is standing there, tears welling up, absolutely humiliated. She ended up heading home in tears, completely alone. So here's the next story. There's this girl in my class, let's call her Daisy, who's basically the queen of backstage scheming when it comes to getting on the school sports team. Most students just show up for tryouts, right? Not Daisy. She prefers private chats in the teacher's offices, where she'll sweet talk her way into a jersey. Now, the funny thing is, Daisy isn't even that athletic. She's decent, but not superstar material. Yet somehow, she always ends up taking the last coveted spot on every team she aims for. Soccer, basketball, even track, and she hates running. Rumor has it that during these one-on-one sessions, Daisy tells teachers all sorts of gossip about other players, claiming they're too lazy, always late, or not committed enough. Meanwhile, she'll plaster on a sweet smile and say, "But I'm totally dedicated." The best part? Teachers sometimes buy it. I guess they assume she's just being helpful by pointing out team concerns. Then you see the rest of us side-eyeing her in the hallway like, sure, Daisy. If one of her teammates so much as sneezes near the coach, Daisy's in the background whispering, "I heard she's always sick. Maybe you should bench her. Oh, by the way, I'm available to start if you need me." Still, nobody ever calls her out directly because, well, it's kind of entertaining in a so obvious it's ridiculous way. She'll prance into practice like she's the MVP, even though everyone knows she wiggled her way onto the roster with a few carefully placed rumors. You can't help but roll your eyes and laugh, like at least she's consistent in her cunning, right?